Hello and welcome back to the Fat for Weight Loss channel. My name is Aaron. Today I'm showing you how I create recipe books and sort of the method that I go through for using just a normal notebook and how to create recipe books out of a normal notebook so that you can keep track of your recipes and you know where they all are and you can easily find them when you need them. So let's get started. So this video is just going to be really quick. I'm sort of going through the method of how I create recipe books, and it's based off something that's called the bullet journal. Now, bullet journaling is a whole process in itself, and Sorrel, her YouTube channel, I was watching one of her videos recently, how she was doing bullet journaling. And so that got me thinking. I was like, well, that can actually apply to creating recipe books. Now, the way that bullet journaling works is that you have a to-do list and you sort of have a monthly overview and things like that. But the format of that bullet journal is what I pulled out from that and sort of applied it to creating recipe books. Now, I've been doing this now for a little while, and I can't really show you any of the recipes inside this book because it's a little bit top secret at the moment. But what I can do is I can show you the method that I use to create recipe books, and hopefully that you can use with any sort of notebook that you've got at home, whether, you know, this one was $3 from Kmart. You can create recipe books using this method out of any single book. So let's get started. Let's open to the first page. And the first page, what you do is you create an index. So you have the spread out of the two pages, the first two pages, and you write at the top, you write index, and you underline that index on both pages. So once you've done that, then flick over to the next two pages, and we're going to put some measurements here. So those two pages, write measurements at the top, measurements, and then give those a page number, so 1 and 2. And then what you're going to use this page for is you're going to come back and reference things that you've measured out and you've given them a weight, if this is important to you. So for me, I know that almond flour is always going to be 90 grams if it's 1 cup. And same with coconut flour, I already know that it's going to be 40 grams if it's half a cup. So that's sort of what these two sections are for. And then go back to the index and then create page 1 and 2 as your measurements. So you write 1 and 2 and then put down measurements. So that's the basic overview of how to actually create recipes in a book like this. Now, the first recipe, maybe you're trying out a variation of a recipe that you already know, or you have no idea about creating the recipe and you're just going to start from scratch. So what you can do is you write variation 1, and then what you do is you write the recipe name, and you put down the ingredients that you used. And so if measurements are important to you, then you can write the measurements, but if not, that's totally fine. You just write the ingredients and the measurements, and then you write the method. So maybe if it's something that goes into the oven, you can come back and put the methods in as you're cooking it. So what I like to do is I like to write the ingredients first, and then I put the method. Now, if that recipe turns out really well, then you can stop there at variation 1, but very rarely does that happen. You might want to do a slight variation, whether it's changing the amount of almonds or changing the amount of salt or changing the amount of xanthan gum or whatever that is into the second variation. So you write variation 2 and then you come up with the alternate changes that you've made. So keeping all of the ingredients from that first list, but then just writing the changes to the ingredients that you want to change, and then you make that again, and then you sort of recipe test as you go through and you come out with the final recipe. So at the top, then you write final, and then you put all of the recipe ingredients down, and then you write the method. And then so for me, what I do is I take that method and I take all of these instructions, and then I upload that to the Fat for Weight Loss recipe blog. So for anyone who hasn't visited my blog, it's a whole bunch of recipes, a whole bunch of really useful information on ketogenic diet. But this doesn't have to apply to the ketogenic diet. This can apply to just basic cooking. So keeping a recipe book like this ensures that you're able to find the recipe that you want in a really timely manner. So what you want to do with that recipe that you created at the start, you want to actually put that at the index. So you'll write page number, and then you'll write the recipe name that you're putting in. So that keeps track so that you know that when you want to flick to a certain recipe, then you've got the page numbers at the bottom, and then you've also got the recipe index at the top. So I hope that sort of makes sense. This is just a quick video. If you liked this video and if you like this style of video, then please let me know. And if you also create recipe books like this, please let me know as well, because it's sort of like a little bit of a unique way to create recipes. A lot of people might also be able to basically cut out a recipe from a website and stick it into here, and then so that they give a page number to all of these recipes and then they can reference it back in the index. And it's fantastic because once you have a really built out index of all these recipes, then you can just reference them to whichever one you want. Some people also have the plastic sleeve folders, and so you might be able to do the same thing where if you print out a recipe from a website, then you can actually go back and create an index in that first page of the plastic sleeve and give each page a number and then go back and reference that in the index. So basically it's just a way that helps you find the recipes that you want in very, very minimal time. So again, my name is Aaron. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.